And I have a slide on erythritol too, but this, I just wanted to point this out. I said, buyer beware if you're buying, if you're trying to get stevia. So there's a couple of products out there. One of them's called Truvia and the other one's called Pure Via. I think there's another one called Zing. They claim to be stevia, but it's another one of those terminology that the food industry is trying to take advantage of. The stevia, what they do is they take one compound of the stevia leaf. One of the sweet compounds is called rhabdosiide A, and then they do some type of a chemical manipulation on that compound, and then they literally like kind of make a new compound out of it, and that's how they're able to patent it. So they patented it and they call it, I'm trying to remember what they call it now, Ribiana, that's the name of it. So they literally created a new compound from the stevia compound, and it's just one compound. And remember, the stevia leaf has like 9 or 10 different sweet compounds in it. So they do a chemical manipulation on it, and then they create a new compound called Ribiana that they can patent. So that's what happened. They had to figure out a way to patent something so they could, you know, have exclusive rights to it, because an herb like stevia, anyone can grow that, and, you know, anybody could do, you know, make money off of that. But they wanted something that they could specifically claim. So that's what they did. And so they make Truvia. Pure Via is the same thing. It's made out of this compound called Ribiana. And oftentimes they mix that with something called erythritol, which is a sugar alcohol. But I always tell people this isn't real stevia. They're just, you know, it's really more of a manipulated, chemicalized form of the compound from stevia. These are a couple of other natural sugars that are good. Date sugar, which is really just dates ground up. They're dried and ground. Raw honey is known to be a healing food as long as it's raw, it hasn't been pasteurized. Pasteurization is a heat process that typically kills off a lot of the antioxidants and vitamins that are in the whatever food it may be. And then maple syrup, which it is boiled, you know, they tap the maple tree and it is boiled, but it does retain some of its minerals. So it's oftentimes used as a alternative to some of the refined type sugars. And then the erythritol and xylitol, these are called sugar alcohols. These are getting a lot of use these days. One, because erythritol has no calories. And so, and it does exist in nature. It exists in fruit, and it does exist in some other foods. But don't let that fool you into thinking that that's where they're getting it from. They're actually getting it from corn. They use the starch from corn and, you know, add enzymes to it and break it down and get it to be erythritol. They're, you know, it's a laboratory process that's happening. That's one of these things, you know, they market things like this. They say, oh, but this is natural. It exists in fruits. And it's like, yes, it does, but that's not where this one came from. So, however, you know, in small quantities, it seems to be okay. It doesn't affect your blood sugar levels, and that's why they often blend it with stevia or monk fruit, because it's a little bit more bulky. It's got more of a volume, and it kind of does look like sugar. It is sort of a white color. That's the only thing I guess that sometimes bothers me about it, is that I mean, clearly it's something that is created in a lab. It's a process that's done to it. You know, erythritol that exists naturally in fruit, you're just going to get it when you're eating a piece of fruit. It doesn't look like, you know, this dry stuff that you're seeing here. So I just tell people, be a little, you know, careful with it. You know, don't overconsume on it, because it's really not designed to be overconsumed. And xylitol, same thing. Xylitol exists in some vegetables. It exists in corn cobs. They use corn cobs oftentimes to get the xylitol out of it. but you can also get xylitol from birch, the bark of a birch tree. So that's considered to be the more natural xylitol, as if it come from birch as opposed to corn. All right, wow, okay. You guys are doing